the student debt cancellation idea was trending online yesterday, I think because of this story. Here's CNBC's report. It says, in a recent interview, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer suggested that President-elect Joe Biden should issue significant student loan forgiveness through an executive order, describing a possible FDR-style agenda during Biden's first 100 days. He said, Schumer said, I have a proposal with Elizabeth Warren that the first $50,000 of debt be vanquished. Vanquish the debt. And one way to vanquish debt is to pay it back. I mean, you did sign on the dotted line after all. And we believe that Joe Biden can do that with the pen as opposed to legislation. So you can just sign something and get rid of $50,000 of debt if you have student loan debt. That's got to be nice. Schumer also mentioned policies to address climate change, wealth inequality, immigration reform, criminal justice reform. It's a big, bold agenda, he said. My job is to get as much of that passed to get the votes for it, which obviously is not something I can snap my fingers and do. Well, he can't snap his fingers and do that, but Joe Biden can apparently snap his fingers and make $50,000 of debt go away. Which it makes you wonder, well, if he could do that with student loan debt, what about my mortgage? What about a car loan payment? Can you do that for us too? See, that's one of the many problems with the student debt cancellation idea is that this is just one form of debt that people are dealing with. I don't really see why this should be the focus. You know, if you want to help people financially by getting rid of debt, you can just make the mortgages go away. But here's my real problem with the whole student loan cancellation idea. Well, many problems with it, but here's one of them. That the people who are calling for this, you know, they would respond to what I just said a second ago about how, well, you signed on the dotted line. I mean, how can you be a victim of an agreement that you entered into willingly? And their response would be, well, these kids were taken advantage of. This was predatory. You know, these were kids, basically. I mean, they might have been 18 years old, but they're just out of high school, and they don't understand what they're doing, and they've been lied to. They've been given false hopes and false ideas about what the future holds and how easy it's going to be to pay all this back, and they don't really understand that they're going to be paying this for 2 decades or what that means for them financially, and so they're entering into this because they think they have no choice. And the thing is, I agree, that's true. I'm very sympathetic to that. I do think it's predatory. And I do think they're being taken advantage of. And I do think it's a scam. And I do think that a lot of these kids are agreeing to this, not really understanding what they're doing, and they're agreeing to it. They're paying exorbitant amounts of money for an education that simply is just not worth it, not worth that kind of money. But the problem is, so I can agree with that, but that means we need to be having a conversation about the university system fundamentally. And the people calling for loan cancellation, they don't want to talk about that. So what they really want to do is they have identified the beast, which is the university system taking advantage of these kids. But rather than slay the beast, they want to keep feeding the beast. And so I can't take it seriously until we're going to have a conversation about the whole absurd idea that education should be this expensive in the first place, and also that every single person in the country needs to have, 16 years of formal education before they can get started living an adult life? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ludicrous. And until we're ready to talk about that, this situation is not going to get any better. You snap your fingers and make the loans go away. That's not going to cause the universities to charge less for tuition. If anything, it's going to have the opposite effect. Okay, number 3. I want to share this with you, a tweet from Kamala Harris. It's utterly terrifying. But she says, know that Joe Biden and I will wake up every single day thinking about you and your families. This is exactly the problem. This is what the left doesn't understand. We don't want that. I mean, I very much doubt it, first of all. I don't really believe it, first of all. I don't believe that you're waking up every morning thinking about, what can I do for the American people today? But even if you are, that's not what we want. We don't want you waking up every day thinking about what you can do for us. We want basically to be left alone as much as possible. That's what most Americans want. All right, my producer sent me something here from Pink News, the LGBT rag. So we'll see how far we can get through this. It says, new Call of Duty gives players proper non-binary option, and the most toxic of gamers are reacting exactly as you'd expect. The article says, are you non-binary? Have you always dreamt that one day you could serve Ronald Reagan and join the American military-industrial complex and carry out war crimes? I have dreamt. I'm not non-binary, but that is something I've dreamt about. If that sounds pretty neat to you, then now's your chance. In Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, players now have the option to, in a first for the series single-player mode, choose their gender, which includes a non-binary option. It comes after early reveals of the video game in August by publisher giant Activision revealed that users were eager to play as imperialist war-hungry killers could list their custom character's gender as male, female, or classified. The move sparked a grab bag of reaction from LGBT plus gamers who wondered why Black Ops couldn't just provide a dedicated non-binary option. The game's creative director initially sought to clarify during a VentureBeat roundtable that, okay, I can't go on. That's as far as I can go. I thought this was a whole article, but this is what people are worried about in America now. Having non-binary options for their video games. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.